Hi, I'm Christina Wilson, and I'd like to welcome you to my MBA Capstone portfolio. I currently work full-time at the Veterans Administration here in Wichita, Kansas. I analyze veterans' claims for disability based on their service connections and their illness or injury. The reason I sought an MBA is that someday I hope to serve as leadership in the VA. The people in the VA are fantastic, and the work that they do really make a difference in so many veterans' lives. It would be an honor for me to continue to progress towards that goal, and completing my MBA was a crucial step. As you will see, my idea was to study business best practices and bring them for use in the VA. The topic of my Business and Leadership Thesis, BLT, capstone essay, is using business best practices to improve customer outcomes in the public sector. Before you get into the BLT essay, you will find a collection of artifacts representing a few of the papers I've written throughout the program. Under the Coursework tab, you will find artifacts for each of the 8 courses pertinent to the overall thesis. The first course presented as Leadership as a Calling, and the artifact is titled Reimagining Leadership in the Public Sector. This artifact serves as the foundation for improving customer outcomes in the public sector. It focuses on public sector leaders, particularly those working in government, to seek and employ thoughtful, fresh ideas to keep pace with dynamic leadership in business and nonprofits. My overall goal was to point up the need and urgency for changes in leadership based not only on better competing for limited resources, such as talented and motivated workers, but also on better providing sustained positive customer satisfaction and confidence like that found in the private sector. The theme of this paper focuses on supporting leaders in the government to concentrate less on systems and metrics and more on people and opportunities to inspire. The emphasis is on applying best practices in relationship management, collaboration, and developing the workforce. The next artifact is in process consulting and coaching. The artifact here is a final paper called Coaching with Emotional Intelligence Intentional Change Theory. It is about how authentic and caring leaders use emotional intelligence to manage themselves and help others. After that, we have managerial accounting. The artifact is entitled Accounting Finesse in the Public Sector. It covers how managerial accounting uses internal financial and performance data to cross-functionally help leaders make better informed decisions. The paper deep dives into activity-based costing, ABC, to identify activities, associated costs, tools, and related cost drivers. Then we have managerial finance as the category. The title of the artifact is Developing Strategic Financial Decision Making in Publicly Funded Organizations. It explores the next level of decision making in the proper use of public funds. It dives deep into public financial management for effective forecasting and budgeting of capital and fiscal spending. Then we have managerial economics. Here we have 2 artifacts. The first one investigates the idea of economy of scope as a best practice for reducing costs, boosting efficiencies, and better customer outcomes. The second artifact deals with applying managerial economics principles in the Veterans Benefits Administration. The following course is Business Diversity and Cross-Cultural Communication. The artifact covers topics such as high context versus low context communication, nonverbal communication, including body language, integrative versus distributive negotiation, and the application of cultural humility aligned with cultural competence. It talks about best practices in Alto Beauty LLC, but is extremely relevant to communication and collaboration in the public sector. Next comes Agile Project Management, where we look at the basics of Agile project management as a way to problem solve using flexible and iterative short sprints or cycles to break down large problems and projects into smaller pieces. The final category is Lean Six Sigma. Here we examine the various voices of any organization, public or private, to apply Lean Six Sigma LSS tools and methodologies for ultimately improving customer outcomes. Lean Six Sigma zeroes in on establishing continuous improvements in two critical elements, speed and quality. When you get to my business and leadership thesis paper, you will find it centers on three arguments: that business best practices from the public sector, best practices from private sector are needed in the public sector, that the Veterans Administration is worthy of having the best assets, processes, and people, and finally, that specific best practices as presented in the Friends University MBA program can enhance current VBA performance and customer outcomes. The leadership traits I sought to develop while working on my MBA were not only develop deliberative decision-making skills, but also to critically become a resonant leader, better prepared to lead through heightened personal and social awareness and competence. Looking back over my entire MBA experience, I can honestly say it's been challenging but rewarding. I found it particularly interesting and valuable. New information on how to be an effective coach, how to negotiate better as a woman, and how to participate in and lead project and change management initiatives. I now look for opportunities to apply what I've learned. Thank you.